Alrighty, so if you remember where we last were when we left off, let's see, Bunk, Volt, and Darwin had kind of started to catch up. Volt and Darwin were going to get together to work on Volt's problem with the ghost. You had gone and talked to the St. Louis Cathedral, one of the deacons. Deacon Fontainebleau, who had told you about this one.
To get in contact with Miranda?
Right, Miranda, who was someone who kind of was a little more hands-on.
Handler.
Yeah, that she was a little more hands-on when it came to that kind of stuff. You had created a brooch that was supposed to be a lure for the devil man and wound up being effective in a way you had not realized, possibly because of the ghosts that were around.
Lots of screaming.
Yeah, exactly. You guys had, I think, finally joined up together to eat lunch. You guys had gotten together. I'm trying to remember. You had set up your listening spell, and she was coming to your house, and basically, while you were finishing your spell, she was hanging out on the front porch because she thought you weren't home.
Okay.
Right. I think that's where we are right now.
So
at least that's what the video said when I
afternoon?
rewatched it. It's probably around 1 or 2 o'clock. Yeah, so it's just after lunch. Right.
Okay. So are we starting with us then?
Who would like to start? Because we're kind of starting to come together on a lot of stuff. So who wants to start?
Okay, well, we can start then. And
Okay,
just
cool.
Finish that line out.
All right, so you finished your listening spell. You realize there's somebody sitting out on your front porch, possibly waiting for you, and it is Miranda. So there you go.
Okay.
Just
I
playing.
come out of my area where I've been working on the
Yeah.
listening thing and look outside and I see, Miranda. So I'm gonna open the door and say, "Hey, Miranda,
You're here?
Was I expecting you?"
Probably not. But I got the thing that we talked about.
Okay, cool.
My sandwich.
That too. Your sandwich.
I see like jelly or something. I'm just kidding. Or
No,
what do you have on the
jelly.
sandwich?
What?
Mustard?
There's no
Ketchup?
jelly there.
Probably a little bit of mustard.
That's
It could have been a Monte
Mustard.
Cristo.
It was a Cuban. No.
Oh, it was a
Yeah,
Cuban.
that's
Okay.
Yeah, so, thing is, it works. Maybe
A little too well.
maybe too well. I don't really want to hold on to it. Would you want to
Okay.
do that?
Sure.
Um,
So I'm gonna I'm not just gonna grab it because I'm like, what's
I
wrong
already
with
have it wrapped in something.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to skin contact touch this thing ever again.
All right, so I'll take it from you.
Don't wear it.
Do I notice
Just a
anything even in
warning.
the holding it, Mike, within the wrapping of the cloth?
It's very cold. Unnaturally so. I mean, even through the cloth, you can feel that it's just got this chilly. It feels like kind of a lump of very, very cold metal. If you've ever taken something like a spoon or a fork out of the freezer, this is what this feels like. It's just supernaturally cold.
So, can you tell me what it is?
So I asked a friend of mine who dabbles in like arcane thingamabobs to make this, and it's supposed to emulate fear, and I thought we could use it as a lure, on the full moon. Tomorrow night at this point, or the next night? It's like 2 nights away, I want to say.
I want to say it's tomorrow night.
Anyway, I figured we could use it as a lure.
Okay. So I'm just gonna...
I put it on. Not a great experience. Just saying.
Did it stop working when you took it off?
Not as far as I could tell, because I'm still not in good place.
Okay.
I think, based on the fact that it's still kind of cold to the touch, I think it's still hot. I'm just saying, I think it's live.
Well, let's do this. Why don't you step across the street from me?
Emulate fear,
Okay.
cause
Sure.
fear. Fear's a result.
And Mike, I'm gonna slowly unwrap it.
It's still really cold.
No, I know, but I'm gonna do one layer at a time so that
Still really cold.
Oh, so you're okay.
Still really cold. Like an ice cube, very cold.
I like keep looking.
Pretty kind of
back at
brooch.
every
It's
time
got.
she does
It's not a
that.
very expensive brooch, but it's
I'm,
a
like,
pretty
stepping
brooch with
into
like
it
got some mother of pearl inlay in it. It's nice.
You should put it on.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Definitely
with
don't
my
put it
little
on.
finger, I'm gonna touch just the. Can I?
It's
well,
really cold.
Can I like?
It's a
Can I
thing here.
evaluate it with like my sense of?
Do you want to do your
magic
wizard
or
sight?
something?
Remember, you have wizard sight. You open your sight, but
No, I
remember.
don't want because I don't want to remember it.
Are
so,
you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
alright.
My feeling is if she's this freaked out about it, I don't know what she's.
Well, now
used,
remember
so.
though that the wizard sight, the way it works is while you will remember it, unless it's something really terrifyingly nasty or something like that that's going to damage your psyche, it's okay to use your wizard sight. And that is probably one of the best ways to assess something. You remember in the books, that's why Harry, saw some of the
Yeah,
spells.
well, I guess
So,
I thought it was going to be worse than that. Okay,
Yeah.
so at this point, then I'm going to open my wizard sight.
So
Attack bonus
to
again?
do wizard sight, what you do is you spend an action opening your sight.
Okay.
And then you're going to make a lore check to do an assessment of what you see because the sight is very intense. Then I'm going to attack you as a mental attack, and you're going to defend using your discipline. And then you can try and close the sight. Okay, so if you defend against the attack, then you can close the sight. Otherwise, it stays open for another round, and I get to attack you for another round. So that's how that works, okay? So, what's your thought?
I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a lore roll.
Not yet. All right,
Okay.
so you open your wizard sight, and you're looking at the brooch. Of course, colors become more vibrant. The first thing you notice is that at your house, colors are a lot more vibrant because you're doing magic there. You can see the
This is
threshold.
as I open the.
Your wizard sight. Yeah, your third eye is what they call it.
All right.
You notice that there's also your threshold. You can tell that your house doesn't have a really strong threshold, but it is a threshold that would keep out evil, nasty baddies, vampires, and things like that, and wizards for all that matter, because it is lived in. You look at the brooch. The first thing you notice is that there's just like frost kind of swirling around it, and as you look closer at the brooch, I'm going to need you to make a lore check.
Hey. So +7.
Okay, so you look at the brooch and you notice that the swirling winds that are swirling around it, you can see their faces in these winds that are screaming in terror. You see a man, a young woman, and it looks like maybe a couple children, a young boy and a young woman who are just swirling around this brooch, and as their faces come up, they're screaming. Now, you can't hear anything, but you can see this. The other thing you see is that as they swirl around, there's this like pulse of icy white wind with screaming faces that just launches out in all directions. Now, around you, it's only going out in about a 3 or 4 foot radius, but you get the distinctive impression that if you put this brooch on, it's going to go a much larger radius, mainly because it's going to be feeding on your fear. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Now you need to make I'm going to make an attack against you, so you're going to defend with discipline. Okay? I know my mental attack roll. You just roll discipline to defend.
That's good. You know
You're
how
not
you
rolling
roll.
first?
Nope, I know what my attack roll is. I know what my damage is, so you're just rolling against it.
Nice.
That's not bad.
I'm
Yeah.
rolling what? Lore?
What discipline?
Discipline? That's a 6.
Okay, my attack roll is a +3, so you beat my roll and actually beat it with style. Okay, so what that means is that actually I think you beat it with like 2 shifts of style because you beat it with a 1. If you tie my roll, you beat it, and then but you get a minor consequence. But beating it by 3, yeah, you beat it with style. So no problems, no stamina loss or anything like that, no mental damage. Now what you want to do is do you want to close your wizard sight?
Yes, I don't
Okay.
think there'd be any reason to keep it open.
Can't imagine. No. Yeah.
Okay.
So you close your wizard sight, and immediately the fear that's pulsing out from this thing that's covering your entire living room with kind of this frosty covering dies down, and you're now just looking at this normal brooch, but it's still very, very cold.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap it back up.
Mhm.
How's it going?
Put it in my pocket for now. Put it in my pocket.
In my pocket.
I'm gonna beckon Miranda over like this
Okay.
because that's what we do in Final Fantasy.
It's good. It's good? Everything's
Yes.
good? Okay.
So where did you get this brooch?
So Darwin is a guy that I know, and he's made thing. That brooch used to let me track vampires, and I asked him to adjust it for this, to serve us and what we're trying to do right now, and he did that to it.
He just goes by Darwin.
Smith, I think is his last name.
That's right.
Do I know that?
Oh, that's
I assumed I would have.
Oh, I figured you've
Ask
done
for his-
business with him before.
I
In
have
the video, so
once before.
Yeah. Okay.
I just thought it was better as like
Interesting.
Smith, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
it's-
right.
Now that I think about it, there was something weird.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at his house, he was like, "Hey, can you stand here for a minute?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I heard voices, and he was like, "It's not just me." And then he didn't elaborate. Might be unrelated, but that
Ages
happened.
are weird.
I know when you say that, I'm like, huh. Gonna have to check out Darwin. I'm thinking to myself.
She's got a sword. Run. Okay.
I have a revolver.
I'm bringing a knife to a gunfight. There you go. You have a really serious revolver too. It's a magic revolver.
That's
so-
okay. I have ice shards in my umbrella.
Yeah. All right. So, what next, folks?
Wait, hang on.
Making notes. I got you. Got you.
Yeah.
So I guess
All
I'm
right. I
up
said, well, I
for
think
money.
it'll work, but I think, yeah, it's probably a good idea for neither of us to actually wear it.
Right.
Does it feel
Yeah.
like it would
I'm
emit enough
on board
fear?
with that.
So let's do this.
Well,
Let's.
when you viewed it under your wizard sight, you realize that if you don't wear it, it's going to cover maybe a 15, 20-foot radius. If
Okay.
you're trying to call the devil man, somebody's got to wear it.
All right.
Unfortunately.
So, I'm gonna go in my house. I'm gonna get a pair of leather gloves.
Well, you can touch it. It's only. I mean, when you were looking at it and pulled it out from the wrappings and you actually touched it, you didn't feel any fear. It was just really cold. It was only after you looked at it with the wizard's sight, that you really saw all this stuff going on. So touching it doesn't seem to power it. It seems like you've got to wear
Okay.
it.
So then this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put this on, and I'm gonna try to not be afraid because I kind of know how it works.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be actively combating the fear.
It's daytime. Devilman has only ever shown up at night. You probably don't need to put it on right now.
I'm testing out to see if I can control
I
it.
got you. Okay, cool. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do that now.
I'm gonna do that now, and I know it's daylight. I figure this is probably the
True.
safest
True.
part of time. So I'm gonna
Devilman's
do
not
that
quite
now.
back for you, though. Yeah.
Unless you don't feel comfortable. If you think we need more people around, then I can do that. But I'm afraid if we get more people around, they're gonna cower in fear.
I don't. Whenever I put it on, I don't think it affected Darwin. In fact, I think he was the one who took it off of me. So maybe I have to.
Then how do we know if it affects
And I
anybody
told you
else?
not to wear it.
Right.
Details.
Did he?
I did tell her not to wear it. But this is an experiment.
Did he say anything to you about like maybe he felt any effects of anything, or you don't know because you were just
I didn't. I got the sense that maybe it worked. Maybe better than he thought it was going to, but it did what it was supposed to do.
Well, I'll put
so
it on and see if it.
I'll be here to
affects
take it
me
off
that
of you.
way.
I don't think it'll.
And then we might try a little foray during the day.
Wow.
There's only two of us.
Good night, everybody.
Demonetized.
Where's that wizard sight now? Anyway, go ahead.
I think it induces fear.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to show up the night of doing the actual thing, inducing.
Got you.
It doesn't work. Look at my brooch. Okay. You know. Sorry.
All
It's
right.
gonna be all right. Oh wait, I'll take.
Okay.
Can I borrow that glove
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
just to take this off of me?
Really
Whatever.
All right.
All
so
right.
you're gonna put the brooch on.
Inevitably goes south.
You pin the brooch to your coat or your shirt or whatever. I need you to make a discipline check. Okay. What's your discipline at?
+5.
All right.
Hey, there you go.
Should be okay.
Woo!
Bam.
+8.
All right.
Bam.
You pin
I don't
the
notice
brooch
anything.
on. Initially, all you feel is just this cold lump on your chest, and then fear just hits you like a wall. And you're able, as the fear starts to mount, you start building your mental defenses. You envision yourself as a hot summer day, and you build that heat to the point where now you're kind of like the sun, until eventually you're just giving off waves of heat that counteract this fear and coldness. And sure enough, the fear just washes around you. I mean, you can see it pulsing out, kind of, or you can feel it. You really can't see it. You can feel the fear kind of pulsing out. But yeah, you're not scared. You're just kind of feeling that your energy is feeding into this thing as it pulses. But it's not, taking any energy from you. You can just feel that there's kind of a trickle of, maybe that bad day you had or that bad dream you had where you went to school and, you weren't wearing pants or whatever, So it's a very minor fear that, is just kind of feeding into it. It's not something that's controlling you, which you very much can handle it.
Can I tell how far it's pulsing out?
You want to open your wizard's sight again to see how far it goes out? You really can't tell unless you do that. And you may need to step to the front porch. Do you really want to see how far it's pulsing out while you're being attacked by fear and try and open your wizard's sight and be attacked by your wizard's sight? So you'll be receiving 2 attacks per round. That's might not be a situation that would be good for you. Unless you're just really feeling like going all out.
No, that's okay. So
Send it.
I will reach up and undo the brooch
Yeah.
and take it off.
You think you can probably handle this, and of course we got to roll every time, but you think you can probably handle it. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, she reaches up, takes the brooch off, and
I
hand
put
it
it.
to you.
No, I don't hand it to her. I put it back in the closet and wrap it up. and put it in
Well,
the pocket.
remember, as long as you're not wearing it, it doesn't seem to affect you. It's just a really cold little piece of jewelry.
Right. I don't want to have a freezing leg
Give her
while I'm walking around.
Oh,
We're glove back.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say so. Yeah, it's a
You
good
It's working.
spell for causing
working.
fear.
Yeah.
But I think maybe because I was prepared for it. 'Cause
You got your
told me
mojo
about
right.
Right. I wasn't expecting
that. Yeah.
that.
But I don't know. I don't know how far out it goes. Would you be interested in taking a walk around the neighborhood with the brooch on?
Me with it on?
Well, now again, remember, if you're trying to call the Devil Man, he's not going to be out until after dark.
I'm not calling it, man. I want to see if people around me become fearful.
Okay, remember, what this thing does is it pulses fear out around you. It doesn't scare people, it's a lure. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So you're not going to scare
Gotcha.
people. It's going to send this pulse of fear outwards, and if the Devil Man is nearby, he's going to go, that smells like food. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Or,
food.
yeah, my food. I
It's a
think we
bait.
need to eat
So
that.
it won't
Yeah.
just randomly make people go,
No. They wouldn't feel anything. They might.
look, there's a shadow.
The most they might feel is, ooh, it's kind of chilly over here.
Okay.
No.
So
All right, then good. It's not as dangerous as I thought it was.
No, it's not.
okay, cool, good, great to know. So we have this. So I guess full moon will
Full moon's in 2 days.
2 days.
But you can always try it before the full moon. I mean, it was just Big Tony who said that, and who knows.
Right.
Yeah,
Guess we could experiment.
Yeah, but I think first I want to go see this Darwin guy. I think he has a problem.
Well, what kind of problems? Oh, you mean the voices?
Well, when I looked at the brooch,
Mhm.
the voices, it looks like a family, and they're screaming in terror.
Are they like in that thing?
I don't know if it's them or if it's just a manifestation of what's the cold place that you're in.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I can show you where he lives. Sure. Yeah.
Now she's got a bike, but both of you could probably catch a bus or a streetcar or something like that to get there.
Do I have the little thing you can ride on the back?
Of your what?
On my bike.
Like those little
Like
spoke
pegs?
things.
No, not the pegs. It's a it's a
Imagine you with an
rectangular
umbrella
flag.
and your big gray cloak, and then she's got a sword across her back, and she's riding on the pegs of your bike as you cross town.
No,
On the front of the bike,
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
sure.
in front of the bike.
People are like,
I'll
oh,
just
they
sit
must
on
be
the
going to a reenactment.
Why
Sit on
is
the
that
bus.
woman with the sword riding on the front of the bike, and
I
why
can-
does she wear?
She's on the
I can
back
just
of
see
the
it
bike.
now. Street preachers just going down there like, hey, it's Miranda. Hey, Miranda. Hey, guys. Yeah.
Question about the
At
sword.
which point the police
Am I
pull
just
you over
like
and go.
packing
"Why
it
is
at
that
all
sword?"
times? Is it invisible at any point? Is
I mean,
it
I
like
have
No.
mine.
packed
It's
blade type thing?
it's a cavalry saber, so you probably wear it across your back, maybe underneath your coat.
I was gonna say, I would probably want to.
I mean, unless you want to throw it across your hip.
to conceal it in some way.
Yeah. You could even, wrap it up in cloth. Well, you could probably actually. That's a cavalry saber. It's got a little bit of curve. You could probably even throw it into one of those, funny-looking little tubes like people carry blueprints and stuff into, and sling it across your back. So there's a lot of ways you can conceal it, but it's a sword.
Or-
If somebody opens the container, they're gonna go, "Oh crap, that's a sword."
You can always just give me the address and you can Uber and I'll bike.
You're gonna take an Uber, just ride
I
together.
could just pay for the Uber.
I won't mess up the modern Uber.
Just sit in the back seat.
Okay.
We could probably hop a
And-
trolley car. I think that's how I got to his
And
house before.
think calm thoughts. Don't get excited. Don't get angry, and you'll be fine.
Use
Don't
that
wear the
big
brooch.
discipline.
Don't wear the
Just-
brooch.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we're gonna take the trolley. That's
Yeah,
how
let's
she
just
says
take
it.
Yeah,
I
those
think
trolleys
that's how
are
I
pretty old school.
Mhm.
All right, so you head down to the nearest stop, hop on the streetcar. They're called streetcars, I was told by Dr. Lachaussee, so they're streetcars.
Named Desire.
Exactly. That trolleys are in San Francisco. But you head on the streetcar, catch it at the nearest stop, ride it up town to where she tells you Darwin's house is. It takes you maybe 30 minutes to get there. There's not a lot of people on the streetcar, really, which is a little weird, but it's kind of early in the day. I think it's Saturday. I think we decided that this is started on a Friday, and we're on day 2. So it's a Saturday, probably around 1, 2 o'clock, when you roll up and get off at the nearest stop that's to Darwin's house and are able to walk a block or 2 to get there.
I thought Terrance was being buried on Friday, or did I just decide
No,
it was
you
a
just
Friday?
decided
Okay.
that. He's being buried in 3 days. This is
Okay.
day 2. He's being buried not tomorrow, but the day after.
Okay.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday, right.
Um,
It's a good day to be buried, I guess.
is this the same day that I just left your house?
Yes, because
Yes.
I took my sandwich.
That's correct. It's only been about a couple hours, actually, since you
Yeah.
stole your sandwich. That's
Probably-
right.
He's not gonna be upset about that, I'm sure. I was gonna say we should probably stop and grab him a po' boy on the way, but
There are a lot of shops along
There are a lot of places. You could probably go by
Okay.
Central Grocery and grab him a muffaletta, and he'd probably
Well,
no harm, no
probably
foul,
go by
all be
there,
forgiven.
but
So
there's,
Yeah,
sushi.
That's a big sandwich.
that's a good sandwich too.
yeah,
Big
we'll,
and good.
We'll go grab a deli sandwich real quick before.
All right. There's lots of little local delis. You can get him something that's pretty good. Of course, I've never had much that's bad in New Orleans anyway. But
I'll
yeah,
just-
you can grab me something.
I'll just get a packed dinner. Well, this is probably past lunch. We have lunch hours together.
Right.
I'll grab dinner for us, and we'll just
Okay.
make it a date.
All right. So around 2 o'clock, you roll up to Darwin's little shotgun house. That's where did we decide your house was?
We didn't.
Okay. We'll say it's probably in the Garden District, which makes it a little ways from your place. So probably you get there around 2:30. It's a house that's very similar to yours. Yours is in a little better shape. Wait. Your resources are 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's in a house that's in very comparable shape to yours. And it looks like it's kind of in the area of the Garden District that's undergoing gentrification, where a lot of people are moving into the area and they're flipping these houses and fixing them up and then living in them. Ironically enough, instead of just flipping them and selling them. So yeah.
So hop off the trolley
Okay.
and say, which house is it?
That one
Yeah.
with the
All right. You walk up the
Shotgun
block.
shape.
You walk by this green pickup truck that's got this window that's been boarded up because it looks like somebody broke into it. And then a little further up the street, and you see the house that she's talking about. You walk up on this front porch. You hear somebody coming up on your front porch. Yeah.
I was just getting ready to leave too.
Yeah, you were. Looks like somebody's visiting you.
All right then.
Hey, I'm back. It's not a problem with the brooch exactly. I'm just back for a different reason. Hey.
Oh, it's Miranda. Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'll
She's got somebody with her, though. Just letting you know. This is a woman who is wearing a gray cloak. Everybody in the magical community recognizes that the gray cloak is the sign of the wardens. They're kind of the magical enforcers of the magical world.
Hold on.
Well, I mean, she wears this thing, and so the White Council. They're kind of the Council of Wizards who lay down the law, and if somebody breaks the laws of magic, that they roll in and kill them. I mean, this is how it's handled.
Contact burn.
And she's wearing a gray cloak, and so you're kind of going, oh crap, she's brought the law down on my house. What the heck have I done wrong now? Yeah, you're a little nervous.
He doesn't open the door. He just runs away.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
the last aspect I actually wrote down was questionable acquaintances.
Wait, they're after Volt. No, yeah. You're a little nervous because wardens make everybody a little nervous. Now that being said, they are good guys, but they're the magical popo.
Yeah, like give me a moment. So what do you think? Like
We're
Straight off the underground.
We get rid of that vampire blood.
What-
Yeah, the small child's body. Wait, no, that's not true. That's not true.
Gonna snort this grave dust real quick.
Yeah, right. Wow.
can't have that laying out.
Yeah, goofa dust. Goofa dust, right.
For us.
Yeah.
All right, but I'll go answer the door
Okay.
and give that slight confused like, hey.
I hold up bags of food. Ha!
Oh, she does have food. And it looks like maybe it's in repayment of the sandwich she stole or ate a lot of. Yeah.
Good, because
Probably
the
still have a
beignets she
little
left were
mustard, like-
cold.
Yeah, they were. They were good, but they were cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got this lady with her who's wearing a hat, and she's got an umbrella. It's not raining. And a cloak, and a gray cloak like a warden. And so, yeah,
It's not raining yet.
that's true. It's New Orleans.
It is New
It's New
Orleans.
Orleans. Yeah, give it a minute. Yeah,
It is the Gulf Coast, right?
yeah, that's right. Don't like the weather? Wait 30 minutes. It'll be something else. Yeah. All right, so you're going to let him in?
So, how can I help you?
You made a very interesting item for her that's going to be very helpful and useful.
I think
I'm
we're
trying
trying to
to
help you.
I'm trying to, but when I was looking at it, I noticed something unusual about it, and I'm afraid you have a problem in your house. And if
Oh,
I
in the
could help
house,
you
yes.
with it, I would like
I
to
do.
help you with it.
You're going to need him to invite you in, or his threshold is going to cause problems for you being able to use your power fully. Okay?
Okay.
His threshold is not strong, but it's enough it's going to be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying, so if you don't mind, I'd like to come in so I can see where this cold spot is. I've seen what I think is the family that is in the center of this cold spot, and they're somehow feeding that cold spot, and they're all screaming in terror.
Trevor, make me a lore check, okay?
I should be able to do that.
You have pretty good lore.
And he didn't tell me it was a family. So.
Right. Oh,
It is a 3.
Okay. You've heard in the past that for wizards to fully be able to use their powers, they have to be invited in. By the way, anybody's stress that you have, mental, physical, stuff like that, is gone. Okay, because it's been several scenes.
Mention that.
Yeah, it's all gone. Yeah, so your mental, physical stress is all gone. You're feeling fine, feeling pretty wired. Yeah,
Getting things done.
getting things done. Right. So yeah, you're kind of thinking that she wants you to invite her in so she can have the full complement of her power. Now, that's kind of a double-edged sword. If she has the full complement of her power as a wizard, that's a lot of power.
Right.
On the other hand, if she's trying to help you, she may need the full complement of power to be able to help you. So,
Sorry, I just find it really amusing that the threshold is basically a speed bump.
Yeah, well, yours is a speed bump.
Yeah.
St. Louis Cathedral, if she walked in uninvited, she would essentially leave all her wizarding abilities at the door. Same thing for vampires, any other supernatural creature. And so it all depends on this. You know, if you had a wife and kids there, your threshold would be much stronger, which would mean that, you know, she would again leave a large portion of her power behind. Right. So yeah.
I get the feeling that I think I kind of know what's up. That's food for me.
Yes, I
Oh,
figured.
by all means, come on.
Now, you don't have any problem with that because your, you know, righteous faith doesn't really require that kind of stuff. It's only wizards and, you know, icky things that go bump in the night that have to worry about that.
So I step in after she does.
Well, he invited you in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you come in, you don't have to leave anything behind, but you can definitely feel it's like a veil parts as you step in. Yeah, okay, so she hands you the food, and...
I take the food, and I was like, oh, by the way, it's that spot there. Yep. And I just kind of walk over there.
Do you know anything about the family?
Not a whole lot, but I did go to the local library. Now, I found out that there was a unfortunate, I believe it was gang-related murder that happened in this house, and it was a family of 4, and all 4 of them lost their lives. Based on the pictures I saw, I believe it was, again, right in that spot over there.
Points to a place kind of in the corner of the room that's basically back from his living room.
Okay.
You see a thaumaturgy circle in there. You see a lot of, you know, little Tupperware containers containing all kinds of stuff. There's some, there's a few books, not very many, but there's a lot of binders that are just like full of pages and notes and some things like that. This looks like a thaumaturgy lab. I mean, you're familiar with what this is. You've seen this before. You have one. So yeah, you're like, okay, this guy's a practitioner. Yeah.
Okay. So, have I done this sort of thing before? Do you know? Okay.
You have not worked with ghosts before. You're going to go stand in this circle?
Let me step in the circle first and see what effect it has.
Okay, well, it's not in his thaumaturgy circle. It's just an area over kind of in the corner off to the side.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to make a lore check? Do you want to, you know, just open your sight? What do you want to do?
Let me make a lore check first.
Okay,
I mean,
lore check.
I just, yeah.
Balanced out.
5.
Okay.
Plus 5.
You step into the area where he's pointing, and you can hear these whispers, which is kind of what Miranda was talking about, that you can hear these whispers of, there's a man, very obviously a man saying, "Where is my wife? My darling, where have you gone?" And then you hear a little child's voice, maybe a little boy's, saying, "Who took my binky? I can't find my binky." And then there's a woman's voice that very obviously says, "Oh my gosh, where are the children? I can't find the children." And then a young girl's voice that says, "Where's my mommy?" So there's these kind of whispers of ghostly voices that seem to be just lost.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of step out and say, I think maybe they just don't know where the rest of the family is.
And that was what you had kind of sussed out last time too, that you needed to get them to see each other.
If I open my wizard's eye, I'm just gonna see this. Do I need to go? Would they be in the Never Never? I mean, where would I go to interact with one of them?
You're not sure you could interact with them. If they're really strong ghosts, they might have an area of the Never Never that is theirs. But if they're just shades that are lost, you might go into the Never Never and you wouldn't even see them. So you're not sure. Darwin had said that kind of what he needed to do was probably get them to recognize each other, which probably would require a ritual spell, some kind of spell that would help them to see each other.
All right.
Because you had done a spell that allowed you to see them, and so you're kind of like, oh, they just need to see each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was what I was about to go do, was go back to the library, look at the same stuff again, and see if I can't, like, print out a couple of the pictures of the people, and hopefully we can use those items, you know, maybe a little doll for a little kid, something like that, put them in a nice little area together, kind of lure them there with, you know, these things, and then make them visible to each other.
Oh, well, okay. I guess you have a will in hand. I just was concerned because she was like...
2 practitioners doing rituals, so much easier. Because
yeah, that's what
you can help each other. If there's stress, you can kind of share the stress. Each round, you can each roll and take 1 mental stress and probably get the spell to go faster. So, you know, 2 people working on rituals is always a nice thing. Yeah.
Well, then I'll follow up with, if you decide you'd like some help because I too do thaumaturgy, just let me know. I'm gonna
by all means.
whip out my
She's
my
a warden. She's
my
a
warden
wizard,
card
so
and
you know,
hand it to him.
She's got some
Cards.
chops. Yeah.
Yes. Dela, 2 L's.
I see that. Just need to find my wallet. Hold on.
Yeah. So what are you guys gonna do? You gonna head to the library and meet back here in a few hours?
I would like to head to the library and see if I can procure the items.
Yeah.
But by all means, if you're willing to help, this is a very recent development, so I would like to be able to do work normally here again.
Make me a lore check real quick. Yes. Talents
I
again.
got a 5.
All right.
5.
It's odd that this all of a sudden has started being an issue. Cold spots, whispers, and stuff like that. And that's the same thing you ran into too. You've owned this house for a year, and now all of a sudden ghosts are causing problems. And you're kind of, again, both of you are kind of wondering what's changed. Why all of a sudden are we having ghosts pop up? This is strange.
It may, and I'll tell him because she's here too. And said, maybe this has something to do with the Devil Man. I mean, if he's causing a lot of fear,
Does seem to be like
maybe
kind of a
it's stirring
convergence of
up.
events.
And then those weird cats.
The cats, yeah.
What?
There's a cat church.
Cats?
Cat church in Jackson Square.
Congregate and they sing. I don't know. It's weird.
It is
I
strange.
couldn't understand what they're saying.
That's someone's little gig for money or something? That's
No, just the cats by themselves, holding court,
It's a
one
weird thing.
presiding over the other cats. It's a thing.
You're welcome to come along if we go see it again.
I don't want
we
to
didn't
be.
have that in Tennessee, so I don't know. This is
And bottom line,
We
don't
didn't
let them
have it in
steal your
Florida
breath.
either.
So I'm just saying, okay? Don't let them steal your breath. That's right. 'Cause cats do that stuff. They're mean. Just
All right.
cats.
So just let me know when you get back and from whatever. And I think I'll go to the police station again. That's where I like.
You
And
gotta
I
get
will
some
check.
stuff from there, yeah.
I got to get some stuff from there, but I'll check into the family. Do you know the name of the family?
No, not a clue. Sorry.
Yeah. When I go back to see if I can find the pictures and whatnot, I'll look a little bit harder, see if I can't maybe find the name, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
I was telling
Maybe a street address.
phones don't like me.
No, they don't. No, cell phones don't. Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah, landlines are fine. Cell phones not so
I
much.
usually have to set up place and time to get with her.
Yeah. You have a burner phone. Or you have a phone.
I have a phone,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Just don't stand too close to her.
well, with wizards, I'll probably keep an archaic,
Yeah.
a Nokia or something.
You play Snake on it. Yeah.
You could just use the old, dial phone I have. That's a...
Yeah, it has one of those.
Oh.
Yeah, other customers I have similar problems. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Got you, yeah, actually.
All right. So you head to the library, and where are you two headed out?
You're headed to the police department?
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably, you guys probably don't need me for what y'all are about to do, you think?
Yeah. And I don't know when
So-
we're going to start that.
Okay, well, I'll probably head back home, do some work, get ready for...
Have you scoped out already where you want to start with our fear?
Not a bad idea.
Well, tomorrow's Sunday. Are we doing it tonight?
We can.
Okay, do you want to meet up near the square tonight?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so if you want to scope out some places that we'll go to, we can. I mean, think of where would be the best place to start.
I'll kind of look over a map of the city. I'll go home. I'll do some research,
Okay.
and I'll do some recon while y'all are handling this, and then we can meet up at the square tonight. What time do the practitioners start?
Around 9 or 10 o'clock, they kind of fold up and leave.
I think we'd want to get there a little ahead of that, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Around 6 o'clock, do you want to meet up, and we'll start combing?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I'll meet her there then.
You head to the library.
Mm-hmm.
You head back to the same place you've run into before. What specifically are you looking for there?
Before, whenever I had looked up the stuff in a little microfiche, they had pictures of like the house and
Sure.
like the body kind of stuff and whatnot. But I'm trying to see if I can't find anything around that same time, but obituary.
Right. So you're going to go back to the same microfiche desk or the same computer, one of the two. If you go to the microfiche desk, Brent is not there. Instead, there's a young woman named Samantha. And she, you tell her what microfiche you need, and she's able to immediately locate it because Brent had put it in the right place.
Right.
And so you can print out pictures from the microfiche. That's possible.
Good.
So you take a few minutes. It costs you like 10 cents a picture or something like that, and you print out the pictures of the house and the family and some stuff like that. When you go back over to the computer, it takes about 5-10 minutes to warm up and the squirrels to start running in the cages again, and then you you immediately start typing in keywords, and you do find an obituary, but there's no pictures. It's just very small off to the side that kind of says Stanley Renfro and wife Madeline Renfro, and their 2 children. There's a ceremony to celebrate their going into to be with their Lord and Savior on it's 20 years ago, so it's probably April 15th, 1992. So it's a while back, but no pictures. It's just a really short little blurb. You get the feeling that it was probably maybe they didn't have a whole lot of money. Or maybe the family wasn't around to do it, or you're not sure, but it's very small. No pictures. You get better pictures off the microfiche, unfortunately, of the murder scene, which is kind of sad.
If I use the little computer again and I type in just the name Stanley Renfro.
Renfro, nothing pops up besides the obituary again.
Right.
But you've already seen that. Seems like maybe nothing from there. But again, this is an old computer. It probably doesn't have a whole lot of cross-referencing in what it does have, unless it's, a major situation. You're not going to get any names or anything like that.
Right. And the fact that it was 10, 20 years ago? 10 years?
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years, that's right.
Yeah. So 1992 is when it happened, which is actually 18 years, but who's counting?
Yeah. Can I do would it be resources to try to find anything else here?
Let's go with, believe it or not, scholarship.
Let's try to
Okay.
draw the devil man.
Scholarship is what you're going to want to do. That's actually along the lines of using the
Some
books
weird
and
legs.
computer and stuff like that.
All right.
Do you have scholarship?
I do.
Oh, cool. Very good. Scholarship's kind of your research thing. Yeah.
I will not be in charge of describing him.
Yeah, so it's still 2.
Even still. All right. You start digging through some of the books, looking for any other information you can find, and unfortunately, it seems like this was so long ago, and it was probably before everything was computerized too, that it doesn't. If there was any other information, it may be in some kind of archives at the newspaper. You're not sure you want to dig through boxes and boxes of
that's a
newspaper.
lot.
Yeah, you're thinking that it's probably not going to be found online. Yeah. You're kind of impressed that you got Stanley Renfro and Madeline. Was it Madeline, I said?
Yes, Madeline.
Madeline Renfro. Unfortunately, you couldn't find the kids' names,
Yeah.
But, minors, you're not allowed to print that kind of stuff, so it's not
that's
surprising,
cool.
yeah. So, yeah.
All right, though. That's fine. I gave it a good shot, so that was... in that case, just try to find a little toy and...
Okay.
A binky, I think that was one of the other things
That was one of the things
said.
he was asking for, yeah.
Yeah.
You can probably head to one of the little, kind of touristy shops. You can find, a small fire engine, a binky, anything else you're going to particularly look for.
I'm just trying to think about what I can do for the parents.
Well, you've printed out some pictures, so, that may be enough. You're not sure. You've got kind of a link of the couple, in a picture together. So and also
know the names,
right? And a picture of the house. So maybe.
Yeah. Well, we'll go with that. We'll see what we can do.
Jody, you're heading to the police precinct. You've gone to the police precinct. You're trying to find information about homeless people who have basically died recently in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. Now, realize that, homeless people, they don't really keep good records of them because,
Yeah.
sadly enough, nobody cares. Nobody really claims the body. Nobody comes to identify the body. They're just John or Jane Does. So you go to basically I won't say secretary, the desk clerk, and what are you going to ask them?
I'm going to say, hi, I'm here on behalf of a friend of mine who works with the homeless. And she has said there's just been a larger number than normal of homeless people that have passed away in the past month or two. And sometimes it's unusual. And so I'm just kind of want to get a list of names and maybe the ones that have the more unusual circumstances about them to see if we can find out how to stop it.
Give me a rapport check.
Oh, I don't think I have rapport.
Sure. It's like talking
I have
to
presence,
people. I'm looking for
investigation, guns, empathy, driving, athletics, alertness.
Rapport. All right, +0 then.
Who use guns?
That's a great idea in a police.
Yeah.
Tell me what you know.
Oh,
I like a blam.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So,
actually not a bad roll. Okay, so you get +1.
a 1. I'm sorry, +1.
The gentleman behind the desk, he's kind of about middle-aged, maybe around 40s. He goes, homeless deaths in this city? Okay.
Well, how about homeless deaths near a tent city? Would
You mean
that-
like the tent city under I-10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. And so he looks at his computer. I'm going to need you to make a discipline check.
Can I back away when I see there's a computer?
Sure, after you make your discipline check.
That's still
Plus 4.
Okay. You get the feeling he's going to kind of blow you off, and then you realize he's about to use a computer. So you take about 3 steps back, and it's funny because right before you take a step back, he reaches over the computer, puts his hands on the keyboard, and you hear, he kind of looks at the computer, and you take 3 steps back, and all of a sudden that goes, and it kind of simmers down. It doesn't sound like somebody's about to cut up a piece of wood with a chainsaw. And he kind of looks at you, looks at the computer, and starts typing stuff in. A couple minutes goes by, and he says, let me see if I can print this out for you. Hold on. And so he hits a button, and you hear in the other room, you hear, and so it sounds like maybe a printer going or something like that. And he says, I'll get it real quick. He steps inside this little room off to the side, leaves the door open so he can kind of keep an eye on you.
I do not walk near it.
Yeah, well, even if you went near the door, you have to push the button to let you in.
Oh.
We remember this story. He comes out with, it looks like 15 pages, and he hands it to you and says, these are the John and Jane Does that were in the French Quarter and Garden District in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Maybe this will give you what you're looking for. Is your friend looking for anyone in particular?
No.
Oh, okay. Hopefully this will help.
She didn't give me any names. Hopefully
Yeah.
she'll recognize some
Yeah,
names.
so he hands it out to you, and it's probably 12-point font. Looks like probably maybe 100 names, and you're kind of like 100 names in 3 weeks.
Wow.
That's a lot. I mean, now okay, granted, 2010. A lot of dark
Yeah.
stuff going on in New Orleans at this point, but 100 people in 3 weeks is a lot.
That's a little,
I mean, that's kind of ridiculous.
If I glance at it real quick, does it give cause of death or does it just have their name?
Most of it is natural causes, cancer of the liver, cancer of the lung cancer, psoriasis of the liver. It's all kind of stuff along those lines. But you're just glancing at it quick.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stick it in my coat, and I guess I'm going to head back to my house and await the
Okay.
possible calls I'll be getting.
Let's go to Miranda. You have gone back to your place, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing exactly?
Check in with who owns the pawn shop. I'm guessing that's my landlord. And
He is your landlord. Your landlord is a gentleman by the name of Arnold Carter. He runs the pawn shop. Well, actually, when you come rolling in, he says, "Hey, Miranda, I have a message for you from a guy. He said you might be able to help him." And so he reaches underneath the cash register and hands you this little piece of paper, and he says, "It's a fellow who said he needed some help with a ghost."
A lot of that going around today. Okay, thanks.
What are you gonna do?
Check the Is there a phone number on it?
Well, you open it up and it says, "I need some help with a haunting that is occurring at my warehouse."
I wouldn't put that much detail.
Oh no, okay.
I would leave it very vague.
Okay, I need some help with a
ghost.
situation at my warehouse. Here's my phone number. Please call if you're available.
Help ghost call.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe not even ghost. Yeah,
Very vague.
Yeah. So, and it has a phone number. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. This is all the messages I got.
That's it.
Thanks. You're the best, Arnie. Okay, so I'll head up to
I like it.
my room and I'm gonna call, but first, do I have a map, like a paper map of New Orleans, or
Probably.
is that something I could very easily? Okay.
Yeah, probably. Or you could probably pull it up on Google Maps too. I mean, 2010 Google Maps
Yeah,
was
that's
around.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not hanging out with
Was it?
lizards at the
Yeah, it
moment.
was. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
If anything, Google Earth.
Yeah.
I'll get some things that I together for our scoping, stakeout, whatever
Right.
tonight, and then I'll call the phone number.
Okay, so you grab your stuff for your stakeout, your holy oil, holy water that you got from the cathedral, some food, binoculars, glow sticks, throw them into a backpack, kind of sling it over one shoulder, and then you grab your cell phone and you call. You met with Bunk, you were having lunch, you probably have just finished lunch, probably settled up the check, left your tip, gotten up to leave, and all of a sudden your cell phone rings.
Hello?
Ghostbusters. Just kidding. Hi, I got your message. This is Miranda.
Yeah, I've got a situation at my place.
Oh, okay.
Ghost problem.
Okay, is this like a single ghost, an infestation? We're talking about.
Single ghost, lots of what I would describe as flames around it.
Okay, cold spots, anything like that?
Were there cold spots?
Cold. Just where it feels cold in the.
Very
you're
minor cold spots, and only when the ghost is around. That was what you had figured out last time. And it was not even as cold as your house is, which is what it really made you concerned. Because my house is colder than his ghost. What's going on? His ghost is kind of spooky. You know? Yeah.
Flames.
Minor cold spots. I'm not a ghost expert or anything, but it seems on the verge of manifesting.
Interesting. Okay.
It stays all hours of the night, but when I come back in the morning, it's gone.
Interesting. Okay. Do you got a address?
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Generic warehouse, generic street lane.
Got it. I know.
That's the one.
I know that area.
Generic.
Yeah.
Generic.
Generic, yeah.
Generic.
Yeah,
Um.
that's canon.
Are you home right now?
No, I'm just finishing up lunch with a friend.
Right. Oh, and also it doesn't. What time does it get dark right now?
Probably around 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Because I made plans to meet Dela at 6, and this thing doesn't manifest until night. I am saying to myself, definitely not out loud.
Yeah.
On the phone.
Schedule conflict.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. So I have a thing happening tonight. Maybe after that thing. Are you a night owl?
I could stay up late,
Okay.
but this is pretty urgent.
Well, I could meet you there now if it's not manifested. Maybe I can. Yeah, maybe we can just get the lay of the land. Would I know how to make a spirit manifest that's not
Probably not. Now, you could make a lore check to see if you know kind of any general ideas about this spirit based on what he's told you.
okay.
So you can do a lore check on that. Yeah.
Try it. Okay,
That's
so
cool.
it's a plus I don't know math. I have +1 on lore, so
So what's your lore?
+1.
Oh, so you have
Plus
+2 total.
Okay.
All right. This sounds like a ghost problem. Most ghosts don't show up in the daytime. In fact, you know that sunlight is pretty bad for them. So yeah, you could check it out and see. You also have a friend who could you have a couple friends who could help with ghosts.
Right.
So yeah.
She brings Darwin,
So-
and Darwin's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that."
Yeah, see, been there, done that.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Okay. Yeah. So I have some friends who kind of, they deal with this sort of thing. They're kind of dealing with it right now, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I guess I'll need to see the ghost in action. So,
Meet back there around 5:30, 5:45 when
yeah,
the sun
I
goes
guess I
down.
could.
All right.
Yeah, let's-
Sounds good. I'll see you
I'll
then.
try to do that. I'll try to squeeze it in before I meet up there.
Okay. All right.
I get off the phone. I'm Bill Bunk in. Did I ever get your name?
I said this is Miranda. when
Miranda.
I called.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't remember. Some person, Miranda, is gonna bring some friends. We're gonna hash out this thing around 5:36. If you want to swing by mine.
All right. Do I still feel the pull to him? Like if I leave, do I still feel pull to him?
It's not like it was that first night. In fact, you get the feeling that the first night it's almost like a spell had been cast on you, and that gradually this spell is starting to diminish. Now, most spells, when sunlight hits them, or I should say sunrise occurs, their spells are dissolved. So it's interesting that this spell is still acting, but you've noticed that since sunrise, it is definitely weaker. On a scale of 1 to 10, the first night it was like a 9. Now it's a 2. It's just kind of residual. So whatever the working was, whoever cast a spell, it was potent. But again, you're not sure what it was. Again, I don't know. Maybe it was just fate. You're not sure. There are witches who can manipulate fate and handle the skeins of all this stuff, and maybe somebody wove your threads together. Who knows?
And I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
and my line of work. This was a former contract.
Yeah.
Let's try to keep that hush hush and under the rug when they come in.
deal.
We'll say he was a person I was supposed to protect. I'm in the bodyguard service.
Okay.
Just to, weave a little bit of truth in the lie.
We're going to let them know that you're bad at your job.
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever hides
Okay,
the
I just
truth.
want to make sure.
Yeah.
All right, so you're the bodyguard. Okay. Okay.
Supposed
That
to meet
was-
him in an alley.
This will be fun.
Said he had a target on his back, and I was supposed to protect him, but didn't do it. I'm a failure.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Do this.
Flawless.
Yeah.
The truth being that you didn't protect him.
I
The
mean,
truth
that is
being weaved into the lie.
Yeah, I didn't protect him
It
from
didn't
myself.
protect
I killed him. Yeah.
Arguably, though, he'll never need protecting again.
This is true. You
So
did
maybe I
protect
did
him.
fulfill my
Did
job.
him a favor.
Fake job.
You did him a favor. Right.
I did him a favor.
I retired his need for protection.
Alrighty. So, anybody else have anything they want to
Forward to the
do
day.
before 5:45, 5:30 rolls around? You can go back to your place. Maybe take a shower. Clean up before everybody comes over.
I want to pick up a small little just recording camera
Okay.
and maybe that'd be fine. Just
Yeah.
to tape the experience.
Sure. Gotcha.
I'm gonna take a quick snap since I'm expecting to be up and have to be alert for
Yeah,
the
that sounds
for the
good.
thing.
Very
I'll
true.
take a nap, shower, all those things. I don't know if I've done any self-care in 2 days.
All right. So everybody gets kind of ready. 5:45 rolls around, and you're going to head over to
Their
Bolt's
house,
place.
generic.
It's going to take you a little while to get over there on public transportation, so you probably find the nearest trolley stop and or streetcar, excuse me, nearest streetcar stop and catch a bus. And about 45 minutes later, you roll up on this warehouse. The warehouse looks kind of abandoned. It's quiet. You get the feeling that either somebody's turning it into maybe apartments or something, though you don't see any construction. Whatever the case, there's nothing being really stored here. You don't see any trucks roll in or anything like that. It is right next to the river, so a boat could roll up pretty easily too. Yeah. And I guess you're probably heading over there about that time too. Anybody else heading over that direction? I don't think Dela knows or Darwin knows anything about this.
Yeah, honestly, I figured that the moment I got back from picking up things, whatever, I'd try to give her a call from her card.
Ah, okay. So around probably 4 o'clock, you get a phone call from Darwin that he's got all the things he needs to handle this thing at his house.
Okay.
All right. So you hop on your bike, and probably about 30 minutes, 45 minutes later, you're rolling up to Darwin's front porch. So it's about 4:45. And so, yeah, you're about an hour ahead of where they are right now. You roll up to Darwin's place. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I figured that, like, hey, I got the stuff. If you want to help out with this, I'll go ahead and get things, set up, while you're on your way, I guess. Just see you when you get here.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna head that way.
You get to his house. You basically roll off your bike. Kind of park it against one of the columns leading up onto his front porch. Head up there, knock on the door. Darwin answers the door. Seems like he's got all the stuff he needs. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, you head into the thaumaturgy room.
Mm-hmm.
You can again still feel kind of the pulsing coldness from this corner where it is, and begin to set up the ritual. You've got the different things that are going to hopefully lure the ghosts into the circle, because the idea is you want to lure them into the circle to close the spell. Now, you're going to need to target all of the ghosts in this zone, which immediately... Okay, so you're wanting to tag them with an aspect that basically says, you can see. Okay, so that's 3 points of power.
Right.
You need to tag all the ghosts in the zone, which is another 2 points of power.
I have a phase aspect that says love conquers all. Could I tap into their love for each other?
Yeah, you could definitely use that. But you also... Well, okay, actually, you're probably going to need to do 1 raise per person, so you're going to need to at least have a 7 power spell, okay?
All right.
So... To do this thaumaturgy ritual, it's going to require seven
that
power.
Individually or combined?
Combined.
Okay.
Now, what is your lore?
4.
Okay, what's your lore?
5.
You may want her to take lead on this.
That's fine.
When you help her, you give her a +1.
Right.
So that's a 6. If you tap into that aspect, then all the preparations and stuff like that, you should be good to go. Okay? Save that aspect for when you actually roll. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So you take the little toy and the pictures, you kind of lay them in the middle of the circle. You light some candles to kind of draw them into it. You close the circle with a force of will. Are you going to try and get all 7 points worth of strength into it, or do you want to go, the
I can do
slow
it like
route?
do the step by step, right?
You can.
So I'm gonna say instead of doing it in just one shot, let's
Right.
We'll divide up in 2, 2, 3, or
Okay.
rather 3, 2, 2.
Right. Now, what happens is if she blows her roll, you guys are going to have to soak up the mental stress together, which is fine.
Right,
I mean, with 2 people, it's not so bad. So you're going to need to make a discipline roll. You've got to put 7 points into it. Remember, you can also tag an aspect by giving me one of your fate points. So you could probably do it in 2 rounds. Easy. Too easy. Yeah.
You saying 4 and 4?
4 and 3, because it's 7 points. Yeah.
But if I tag an aspect,
It's up to you.
what does that do?
It gives you 2. Well, it adds 2 to your roll. So when you roll, we see whether you beat a +4, and then the next round we see if you beat a +3.
So you may want to roll first,
Yeah.
and then try to tag
That's what I'm
it.
Right.
thinking. All right, let's do that.
Okay, so you need to beat a +4. Now you're rolling a discipline check. What's your discipline?
5.
Okay, so don't roll badly. You should be fine.
Why do you have to say that?
Yeah, don't roll badly.
-2.
My. Okay, so you had 5 minus
I'm at
2.
3.
That drops you down to a 3. You are putting 4 points into it. So unless you tag that aspect, you're going to take some backlash and points, and the spell
So I
fails.
can tag the aspect now.
Right.
Alright, so I'll tag the
Okay,
aspect.
give me the fate point. All right. So now you're at a 5.
Don't talk about my rules again.
All right. Now you're at a 5. Okay. So now you're ready for your roll. Now on this one, you only need a +3. So you're in better shape on this one.
So how's he helping me?
He's giving you the +1. And if you take any
Okay.
backlash, you took 1 point of mental stress. He's going to take the next one.
This time I needed 3. I still roll my full complement dice.
Correct. You
Okay.
always roll 4 dice. It never changes.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
good.
that ain't bad.
That's a 6.
Okay. You see, the candles flicker. At one point, they take on a bluish tinge, and the little pictures in the middle of the thaumaturgy circle kind of flutter around and then settle to the ground. And then all of a sudden, you see this little family, and there's a husband, and he's staring at the wall like he's seeing something that's not there. And then the wife is kind of staring, 90 degrees from him, and then the little baby is sitting on the thaumaturgy, near the edge of the thaumaturgy circle, kind of looking towards you, and then the little girl is looking towards you. And all of a sudden, she looks at you and says, "Are you my daddy?"
No.
Oh. And she turns and she goes, "Daddy!" And she jumps. And when she says that, the husband turns around and says, "Oh my gosh, my little one." And he runs over towards her and grabs her up and just hugs her. And the wife turns and says, "You're here," and runs towards, and they throw their arms around and they grab the little boy and stuff like that. And just there's just this huge, and you can just feel kind of the love kind of rolling off of this. And instead of the coldness anymore, you feel warmth and peace. And all of a sudden, the tiny little girl turns towards you and says, "Thank you. You gave me back my family." And there's kind of like a light that starts below them and just kind of rolls up towards the ceiling. And then they're gone. And so you're kind of like, what just happened here? And all the little things that you left in the middle are gone too. But the room feels noticeably calmer and more peaceful. So, write this down on your sheet. Your thaumaturgy lab now has the aspect.
Lab aspect?
That which is lost has been found. Okay? And you can tag that aspect to, with a fate point or something like that if you're doing a ritual that's trying to find things. So that ain't bad. Okay? Now, this takes probably maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes. So it's probably right around 5 o'clock. I think you were heading over there around 5. So around 5:15, 5:30, this woman rolls up to your warehouse. She gets off one of the streetcars. She's kind of, got blonde hair, t-shirt with a peace symbol on it, and you notice that she's carrying this kind of weird, long-looking package across her back.
Okay.
She immediately makes you kind of go, this is the lady that church was talking about? Yeah, she doesn't look like a priest.
Mm-hmm.
She certainly doesn't look like a nun. She looks like, somebody you would see, walking down the street in the French Quarter. So you're a little kind of going, what? Did I get the right person? So, yeah.
I'll, I guess when I see her approach, I'll descend the stairs and reach out for a handshake.
This guy comes down the stairs. He's wearing a leather jacket. He's kind of built a bit like a brick house. He's kind of muscular. That's right. He's mighty, letting it all hang out. And so he comes down the
pants on, don't worry.
Yeah, that's right. It's not Magic Mike. He's a brick house. So yeah, that's right. He sticks out his hand to shake your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, shake his hand.
Okay.
Volt.
Nice to meet you. I don't know why I did that in like a Dean Winchester voice. That was
Okay, you can do the Dean Winchester voice.
Sam! Sammy!
No, Dean.
No,
Okay.
you are driving an
Right, so
Impala,
you-
so it's okay.
Yeah, there is a Chevy Impala outside.
But it's green, so no, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Got Dean Sam webbings.
Yeah.
The whole gamut. So, you,
I'm the one with the ghost problem.
right.
Follow me
right.
upstairs.
Okay, let's head upstairs.
He takes you upstairs. This warehouse looks like it's seen a few better days. It's a little rusty. You go up the stairs, and he takes you into what would have been the office area of the warehouse, but it's now been kind of converted into kind of a cozy loft apartment, if you will. There's a bed over in one corner. There's a little area with kind of an electric skillet area, and then there's a microwave. The sun's beginning to go down. and as the sun touches the horizon, you notice right next to the microwave there's kind of a hazy outline that begins to resolve itself into a young man. He's got a hole in his chest where his heart and lungs should have been, and that you can kind of see through him. The thing you notice the most is as soon as Volt walks into the room, this creature turns and looks towards him, and streamers, it's like a high wind hits him, and these streamers of ectoplasm go, yeah, exactly, just like that, come flying off, and the malevolence, that's exactly right, yeah, exactly. You nailed it, that's right. This thing looks angry,
Bunk?
but the thing that really catches your attention is you know this guy. This is Terrance Jackson, the one she's been looking for, and his ghost is standing right in front of you and looking at Volt like he would love to take his head off. And that's when Terrance reaches over and grabs the microwave and picks it up and slams it on the ground, and it shatters everywhere. And you're like, that's new. Yeah.
You didn't do that last time.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Bunk, Miranda, Bunk.
Yeah, right.
We've run into each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Each other. Great.
Yeah. Kill sniper. So it's okay. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm not bitter.
I mean,
I'm not
you
bitter.
just told me. I'm gonna
It's all right.
What'd you do?
kill somebody she was trying to.
It's fine.
Running water
Vengeance
thing.
is thine, not mine, saith the Lord. So it's all good. So recognizing that I know who this is.
Yeah, this is Terrance. Button-down shirt, khakis. Well, okay, he's kind of gray right now, but you recognize him for sure.
Right. So the microwave shatters.
Yeah.
So that's a physical, straight up manifestation. Right. So I'm gonna try to speak to him. Is he still fixated, or will he look at me?
Only got eyes for Volt. In fact, when he grabs the microwave, he actually throws it in Volt's direction, but when it leaves his hands, it goes straight down. So it's not like he can impart any momentum to it. Okay. It's like he's trying to throw the microwave at Volt, but he can't get it to fly out of his hand.
Right.
He lets go and it just hits the ground.
Doesn't have the power
smashes. Yeah. Okay. But this is definitely a new development. At which point, he starts to reach for something else on the counter.
Quit! I'm going to run over and try to swipe.
Okay, he's grabbing for your little flat iron skillet griddle
I'm going to
thing.
grab that instead.
Yeah, you grab it and pull it out of the way. He can't reach it.
I'm going to slowly start moving everything away.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm now envisioning.
He starts grabbing books and slinging them, and again, as soon as they leave his hands, they just hit the ground. But he's grabbing everything around. He's like he's trying to throw it around and destroy anything that's around him.
I would love an explanation as to why he's so upset with you, but for right now, maybe you should leave his eyesight and let me try to calm him down.
All right, I'll be downstairs.
Okay.
All right. Do you head down into the warehouse? You can do that.
Yeah, I'll go down to the warehouse.
Okay. Head down to the warehouse. As soon as Volt leaves his eyes, this guy, Terrance, calms down. He doesn't seem like he's going to throw anything around. You start kind of moving things out of his arm. He seems like he can't really move from where he's standing. He's maybe got a
Is he in the same exact spot he was the night before?
Absolutely. So anything he can reach, he's going to throw, ish. But he's not really moving yet. You do notice
You're
though,
still in the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do notice he's ignored. Now, when Volt leaves, he sees both of you, but he doesn't seem to really notice you until he looks at you. And then you notice there's kind of a change in his demeanor where it's almost like he's trying to remember something, but he can't quite get it to come to mind. And so he looks at you and he kind of looks puzzled, and he kind of looks up and he looks at you again. And then whatever it is doesn't seem to connect. And so he just kind of stares back at Bunk. So it's like he wants to know who you are, but he can't remember. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like step into his eye line, and I'm gonna say, "You're Terrance Jackson. Do you remember that you're Terrance Jackson?"
I'm gonna need you to make a rapport check.
I'm thinking if you couldn't move, you could just move from
Okay,
about
that's
this
four.
everything put in a pile.
Not
So
even.
four.
It's
Yeah.
not bad.
I'm
So
sure that's
four.
what he wants to do.
Look at it like
What'd you
a
get?
ghostly room.
4.
You look at Terrance and you say, I need you to remember you're Terrance Jackson. And he stops looking at Bunk and he looks at you and he goes, and for the first time you hear him say something, he goes, Terrance.
That's right. I'm Miranda. Do you remember me? Miranda Gagnon?
And he looks down and he goes, Terrance. And then he looks at you and he says, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then he kind of looks around and he goes, and he starts saying his name, Terrance, over and over. And that kind of seems where he's locked in.
Mantra.
Yeah.
Do you know what's up with the, yeah. Terrance, do you remember how you died?
Need another rapport check. You're going to need a good roll on this one.
Fail.
You got a good one on this. Oh, that's a terrible rapport check. He just looks at you and says, Terrance,
Thanks for the condolences.
I'm dead.
So how do you know this dude?
He used to volunteer at like the soup kitchens and the homeless shelters and stuff where I work. He's a really stand-up guy. Honestly, such a tragedy that he died.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you tried to touch him?
No. No. I have stayed away from him
Bad
because
idea.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
And he's over there. You're
He's
over
over
here.
there,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
there.
Right.
Do I get the sense that he's like here because he's got unfinished business or some external force maybe keeping him here?
You're gonna need a lore check for that one too, and you're gonna need a good roll.
My lore is not good.
Pass.
What?
I mean, it's a 1.
Where are we at? -1?
The dice evened out and then I have +1.
Okay. And what's your lore normally?
+1.
+1.
You can't tell. It's just maybe not. You're just not that good with ghosts. Or maybe you need somebody.
Well, I called you.
Can I spend these to re-roll rolls? that how
but
that
you have
works?
to do that. You have to
Tag it?
tag an aspect.
Could I tag it with no one is beyond saving if they want to be
Oh
saved?
yeah, that's definitely that's definitely an aspect that'll roll on this one. Yeah, come on, good roll.
Come on.
Now, ooh,
That's
much better.
That's a +3 now.
Okay. Do you have another aspect you could tag to give yourself a +2? Because you can tag multiple aspects, just you can't tag the same one twice. Because that'd be cheating.
I have.
It just makes me thirsty.
I've
seen too many of those in Chopsakis.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes it so
They're
great.
always drinking.
maybe vengeance is not mine but thine. I don't know. Or Reggie's rosary.
I'll allow that because
Okay.
that's kind of where this is going. So give me your other point. All right, so you're up to +5 now.
Okay.
You definitely realize that Terrance is not here because of unfinished business. There is something. As you look at him, it's almost like you can see like a cord, a silver cord that runs behind him into the wall, and then you can't, and then it's kind of like it doesn't actually hit the wall. It stops right in front of the wall and then kind of becomes translucent and disappears. So there's something that is feeding him and keeping him
This
here.
might not be a smart idea, but is he corporeal at this point any
You gonna
way? Or
touch
the
him?
cord or anything?
You gonna touch him?
I'll try.
Well, your hand passes right through him.
Okay.
So not yet.
And then
Okay.
she's like,
Because he was able to touch stuff, so that's
So-
why I was just testing.
Right.
So she was able to. So I want to try see if I can touch him.
When you put your hand into him, there's a spark, okay? Now, what that means for you as a practitioner is when you touch someone who has magical ability, there's kind of like a little static electricity kind of jump. And this feels exactly like that. Like Terrance, maybe the living Terrance, had magical ability.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell Miranda and Dela that as far as you know, Terrance was mundane. He did not have magical ability. He worked for Morgan Stanley. He was a good guy. He was not a practitioner. So you're kind of like,
And I wouldn't.
this guy could cast
even know
spells.
what that
What
means
the heck is going on here? Yeah, this is weird. Yeah, so this guy was a practitioner. That's
So,
definitely
this guy used to be like a spell. I don't know what, but magic-ish adjacent.
magic adjacent, like
not
you.
as far as
At least
I
magic
knew.
At
adjacent.
least, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what all do you know about this guy?
Not that. I knew
Yeah.
that, I mean, he was just a good kid. He always came around the soup kitchens and the shelters and he just helped out. He was just, just a hardworking, regular guy as far as I knew. Maybe Dela knows more?
Who's
I
Dela?
could ask her.
You don't know her.
Would it be common knowledge that she's the warden or, I don't know.
Yeah. Anybody who's
Wait.
supernatural would know of her as the Warden of New Orleans. She's the one
I didn't
who's
wanna
in
just
charge
blurt
of when
that
things
out.
get out of hand. You call the Warden. She calls the White Council. They ride in. They kill things or spell things or stuff. Yeah.
So she's the city warden.
Yeah. So anybody
her.
who's a magic.
Dela.
Yeah. You all know her. Who she is. Yeah.
She and Terrance grew up together. They were like best friends.
Oh.
Good thing you're not here. Then.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm like,
Bunk's just like sweating.
you're like, there's so much I didn't know about this before. Can I go home?
That's interesting. I wonder if she knew that he was a spellcaster. Maybe she did.
You can give her a
Okay,
call.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I am curious. Okay, so I definitely feel like he's not here of his own accord. This doesn't feel like he wants to be here. Something's making him be here. He definitely has a lot of animosity towards your friend. Kind of need to know what that's about. Maybe I should ask him. Hey, guy.
Yeah. You can lean out the door.
Yeah.
So,
You go downstairs and talk
Okay,
to him
yeah.
if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not.
You both do that.
Not-
Terrance isn't following
I
you.
almost buy some popcorn first.
I'm just gonna let him know, like,
Right.
Terrance, I'll be back. I'm gonna
But
help
you
you.
can pop it in the microwave, but there's a microwave.
Dude,
That
every time he
sucks.
mentioned Terrance, he mentioned that microwave, and I was like, something's up with that microwave, man. Something's up with it.
Demonic microwave.
Yeah.
No.
I bought it from a voodoo store.
So like, hey, coming down. So I'll head down and just be like, so I think I need more information. I have friends who are more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. Any clue why he's here? You know, haunting you specifically. He doesn't seem to like you very
Well-
much. Have you wronged him in his life, or?
Maybe from his perspective, he said somebody been following him in the past few weeks, and
Wait, you knew him when he was alive, then?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
he kind of paid me to be his bodyguard, and he said somebody was following him, keeping eyes on him, just felt uneasy, so I came in to do my job. I'm kind of hired muscle.
Right.
I flex.
And he's big.
Oh wow. So you so you were hired to. He hired you to protect him?
Yeah.
Does he have money like that, Terrance? Do I know?
He worked for Morgan Stanley. He was actually
Okay.
a pretty good analyst, so he very possible he had enough money to hire a bodyguard. Very
You-
possible.
So you were hired to protect him from who?
I don't know. He never gave me any straight answer. Just that somebody was following him. And
You need a deceit check
I
at this
was
point.
waiting for
If
it.
you're gonna do that, you got a deceit check. You do have deceit, right?
Sure don't.
Oh, that's a +0 then.
So, how do deception checks work?
You make a deceit check. She makes a probably rapport check, and probably rapport check. So you make a rapport check. He makes a deceit check.
Okay.
Oh,
Even.
+4.
Well, before she gives me the answer, do I need to wait to see her roll before I use a point? Refresh?
What are you using it for? What aspect are you tagging?
So, because I'm using the story of a bodyguard protecting someone, I'm going to use there's a bullseye on my back. Kind of like, I'm making the facade there's a bullseye on his back. Or something around there.
I'll buy it.
I've got other things too.
So what's your roll? What's your roll you got?
I had a nil.
Okay. To tag that aspect is fine, but it'll only give you a +2, which will give
I
you...
wanted to re-roll if I can do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I
Yeah,
would
okay.
much
That's
rather
fine. Yeah,
you
you can re-roll. Yeah,
I think I've got better
absolutely.
chances there.
Yeah. Because you're at +4 right now, right?
Woo! That's a crit, baby! I don't know how good that is, but
You got all pluses?
I got all 4s.
Okay, so you have a 4.
I still might fail, but...
Okay, so no. Okay, you succeed, but with a minor inconvenience.
Okay.
Do you have anything in deceit? Because it's 4
Um,
on the dice.
No, I don't
this
have
is
any
fun.
deception
Oh, okay.
at all. I have intimidation and
You
All
have a minor stress.
presence.
All right, so you're telling her about this,
So I have
and,
rapport at 1.
and the reason she's distracted is the fact that you're kind of flexing and stuff like that, and so he's a little hard to ignore when he's kind of moving around, and you watch the ripples kind of.
I tried to protect you,
Yeah,
but I just wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
You can't really see because your eyes are rolling.
Right,
so-
yeah, he's kind of hard to ignore when he's flexing and stuff like that. So you're thinking that
Johnny Bravo's.
right, Johnny Bravo, and so he's really hard to ignore when he's kind of talking and looking all broody like that, and
Got it.
yeah, and so you're thinking that maybe, and she's kind of fluttering her eyelids a little bit, and you're kind of going, oh wow, wow, that was not what I was going for. Maybe the reason she didn't notice because she's a little bit attracted to you, kind of something like that. And you're kind of like, well,
Volt is a big, strong, muscular boy.
he is. He's a nice looking
He's
fellow.
got a might of 5. So.
He's a
Might of 5.
that's
And
might of
superhuman-
5 is big.
And superhuman strength.
Yeah. So when he flexes, he flexes. That's right. Yeah. So she's kind
Or
of
inhuman strength.
checking out your pecs and kind of looking at your arms and stuff like that. And it's not really something she's into, but you're thinking, if you're going to have to deal with evil supernatural beings, it wouldn't be bad to have a big strong guy around to handle,
Right,
and
yeah.
especially since he's not hard to look at. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So yes, you did not suss out he was lying to you because he was a little
I
hard
was
to look
so
at.
That was
stressed.
such a clutch roll.
Like,
'cause
yeah.
That was a good roll.
Best use of
If
a
I had
refresh point.
anything on my dice whatsoever, you would have
Yeah.
been screwed.
I know, I'm so scared. Oh god.
And you're kind of going, why does he keep flexing?
Yeah, exactly.
And going, I don't know why.
They're like, this isn't doing anything for me.
And you're like, is he trying to impress her? And it works.
Yeah.
You got your popcorn?
I was like, huh? Didn't think that would work. All right.
I thought that was just
Like, oh, is that? Huh?
Yeah.
Is that how
What the
it
heck
works
is that all
now?
about? Oh, wow. She's really distracted by that. Yeah,
She actually believed him.
yeah, she bought it. Yeah. So,
What?
he seems to be telling you about the fact he was supposed to protect this guy. Didn't work out. He wasn't able to protect him. It wound up the guy, Terrance, got killed. So, yeah. Oh, such tragedy.
So I think
I gotta pick it from
obviously I need to get with my friends who know more about this sort of stuff.
And you can call
They
him.
kind of. Oh yeah. Darwin has a phone.
He does.
Yeah, I'll call
Both
Darwin.
a cell phone and a home line.
That's right. His cell phones work.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay,
he's-
I thought you were a Fritz guy too.
Not like her.
Not
Oh,
like
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
okay.
yeah, I know. I mean, he might.
I'll give Darwin a call for the 3rd time today. I will bother him.
Yeah, his iPhone periodically drops calls. That's about as far as he has problems with. Yeah. Ah, crap, we're in a dead zone.
Oh.
Yeah. You just finished, kind of dispelling the this house is clean, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden your cell phone goes off. And so it kind of breaks the moment where the family, shoots up into heaven or something like that. And it's Miranda. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Again.
yeah. Thank you, Dela, so much for your help. I have to take this real quick. I go to the kitchen where I left the phone because I know that probably wouldn't be good to have
Yeah.
around her. So
True.
I'll answer it. Hello?
Hey Darwin, it's your favorite customer. So I know you're really busy with like your own exorcist thing. I got this guy who called me about another ghost.
There's been a lot of that lately.
Yeah, there has been a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
A lot of that. Thing is is Dela still there?
Actually, yes, we just finished up over here.
So this is kind of personal for her. So I don't really know how to. The ghost is someone she knows, and it's kind of a sensitive topic, and I don't know. Man, I don't want her to be distracted with this, but at the same time, she kind of needs to know. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it. So her friend Terrance died not too long ago, and don't know why I'm talking. I guess I was on speakerphone.
Do you want to be on speakerphone? I could probably do that.
Actually, yeah. Let's do that.
All right.
Send it. Okay.
You're just saying like that good, like 6-7 feet away.
Yeah. He called.
Brandon wants to talk to you.
Hello?
Hey, Dela. How's it going?
It's going well. We took care of the problem at his house.
That's great. That is excellent. That's good news. So I have something that probably needs your attention, and the devil man may have to take a back seat for this tonight. I don't know.
Okay.
Terrance is haunting a warehouse by the river, and
I need a discipline check right there.
For me?
Yeah.
oh yeah, shoot!
Because that's going to hit you pretty hard in the yeah.
I'm sorry, but the way you said that, I don't know why. When you're like, Terrance is haunting a warehouse, I thought like that stupid meme where it's like, oh, is that like a person that turns into a house? You know, it's like, that's the first thing I thought of. It was like,
Oh, you're fine.
What'd you get?
I got a 6 plus 6.
Okay. You notice that you're starting to drop. When she says that, the call starts to drop out, at which point you take about a step about 2 feet back, and the call comes back in. So, yeah. Yeah, this kind of gets you pretty seriously. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Where is it?
It's on blah 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 generic street by the river.
All right.
Generic.
I'm familiar
French
with the
names.
generic.
that's right. Does that place sound familiar?
It
Was it-
sounds real familiar to you. That you've been there. You were there last night, in fact. Yeah.
I want to let you know it's not just prepare yourself. He's I think he's here against his will. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. That's why I called in the big guns. I don't know. I'm a little out of my depth here.
All right.
You gonna hop on public transportation or his moped and head over there?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I'm calling an Uber.
Okay.
All right, he's calling an Uber for
Thanks,
me.
Darwin.
I'm not waiting
He's
around.
calling an Uber, right? You gonna head over there with her? Sounds like a fun time.
Does it though?
Does it?
Maybe.
He's like, what if he realizes I know him?
I don't know, because like part of me is like, no, this isn't, no. But another part of me is like, I have an idea, I know what's happening, and she's pretty good at doing stuff.
Somebody has popcorn.
That's right.
Popcorn.
Gonna be fireworks somehow.
I think I will go. I'll call you an Uber.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take my moped.
Yeah.
I need to have my own way out.
All right.
Smart.
He calls you an Uber.
I don't even hear any of that. All I heard is Uber.
And Terrance, right?
I'm focused.
About 10 minutes goes by. And so the Uber rolls up. You hop on your moped. The Uber takes off towards the warehouse district. It takes you about 15, 20 minutes to get there. You roll up to the warehouse on Generic Street. And head inside. The Uber drops you off, and the driver's kind of like, "This is a weird place." Okay. People live here, and you roll up on your moped, and you chain it to one of the nearest posts. There's some stairs leading up to the what looks like the office area of the warehouse. That looks like the only way in. There's some big roll-up doors, but they're chained down, obviously.
Okay. I'm headed up. I'm not running, but I'm
Yeah.
walking with purpose.
You head up the stairs.
And I'm trying to like.
Calm yourself. Right. You get to the
I don't
door.
want to be excited or any or
What?
sad.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing for the 20 minutes it takes her to get over there?
So I'm just gonna let them know I got experts coming. They know how to handle this. They
Okay.
literally just dispelled. They just-
So, well,
These are the real Ghostbusters.
So how'd this guy die? I mean,
Well, he told you. He told you. He
right
kinda
up,
might have,
but, but not in front of her.
Right.
But
So
the,
I am
story.
turning.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure. I was told to meet him in this at this bar, and I got there, and he was nowhere to be found.
We really need to find out who it was. It's so odd that he hired you and didn't tell you who to look for whenever they were trying to attack him.
He didn't know who it was. He just kept
Yeah,
saying.
that's true, I guess.
Somebody.
That's
It
weird.
felt like someone was watching him out
This
for
may
his
be
blood.
something Dela knows about. She's on her way here. Look, she was a personal friend of his, and so just warning you, this might be personal for her.
Huh.
Well, I'll stay down here while y'all deal with it up there.
Okay.
About that time, you hear a knock on the door up by the office. He's standing down there. What are you doing, Chuck?
Well, I am.
Hey,
Yeah,
all
no,
hands
I
on
am.
deck. Do you
I'm
wanna?
enjoying every minute of this.
And so you and Miranda head up the stairs to
So
the
I don't
office.
see him.
No,
or
he's
anything
downstairs.
downstairs.
No, he's
or-
downstairs. No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Oh, he went far away. Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
You open the door of the office. It's a little office that's been converted into kind of a apartment that is in the office area of this warehouse. Sure enough, standing by the counter, and there's a smashed microwave on the ground, is Terrance. He's standing there, and you notice that as you walk in the door, he's going, Terrance.
So my eyes are gonna like kind of mist over, but I'm
Yeah.
actively like.
He's got a hole in his chest,
not
and you
gonna-
saw that you can tell that this is what he looked like when he died, and it's definitely Terrance. When you walk in the door, he turns to look towards you, and says, "Dela." And that's the first, and you can, because he hasn't said anything but Terrance for the last 45 minutes, and he looks at you and says, "Dela."
Yes. Hi, Terrance.
I like to think that came in like a few seconds after
Yeah.
that, like, oh, hey, Miranda,
Yeah.
I brought Dela. What's
Hey,
going
darling.
on?
At which
Why is
point,
the microwave broken?
yeah, right. I can fix that. Yeah, it might not work, but it'll be fixed. At which point, when you say yes, Terrance, and he goes Terrance, it goes back to this just
Oh,
kind
that's new.
of repeating the
It's
Terrance
new.
thing.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
really annoying.
You also notice that they moved
Did
everything
he
away.
Did he say that's new?
He says that's new. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I look
Wait.
at him. What do you mean that's new? Have you seen him before?
I've seen this entity before, yes. I was over here last night. But I don't know what's going on with it, though. I can't do much.
can they?
Is he here?
Yeah, he's up there too. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chuck.
Hi.
We're on Bunk.
No, Bunk. That's that guy.
Hi.
Chuck Bunk.
Hi,
Yeah.
Bunk. Hi, Bunk. And you can see him as well.
Oh yeah, we could all
Yeah,
see
everybody
him.
can see
Everybody
him,
hear him.
Yeah.
Saw him throw the microwave.
Make me a lore check.
Oh, he threw the microwave?
Uh,
He picked it well. He did like this.
He
and
went
it
to
was
throw it and it
almost
just
like
fell
smashed him.
and
Like,
yeah, he smashed it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
That's definitely new.
Plus one.
6.
All right.
It's
You
affecting
can
physical
see
object.
very hazily behind Terrance a silver cord that leads towards the wall and then disappears about 6 inches from the wall. It just kind of gradually fades out of existence.
Have I seen a silver cord?
Yeah, there's something from the Never Never that is feeding him with power and keeping him, in place. So yeah, you've seen this before. This is definitely something from the Never Never.
So yeah, I noticed that cord thing too, but I don't really know exactly what it means other than I think that he doesn't want to be here. Like I don't think this is.
Yeah, he's something on the other side is
So I
feeding him,
don't know.
keeping him here for whatever reason.
I don't exactly know what we would do to remedy this situation. I wanted to ask a technical question. I have an ability called Bless This House, and it says by your very presence in a place, you may increase the strength of its threshold.
Right. He doesn't have a threshold yet, but like for his house, it was like a threshold of +1. You would make it a +2 just by being there, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't affect this situation.
Yeah, not quite yet. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at Terrance again and say, why are you here?
He doesn't say anything besides just Terrance in that weird kind of grindy, ghostly voice. Yeah, it's very weird.
Okay.
Now, if something from the Never Never is feeding him, you do know you can open a gateway to the Never Never. You could either use thaumaturgy or you could, do it as evocation quick, whichever you want to do it.
I was about to say. Yeah. Okay. I know he can do magic. Can I tell if other people? I can tell if other people are magical.
Shake their hand.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll get a spark that'll tell you yes.
Does it have to be their hand?
Just touch them. Yeah, you can just touch them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna walk over to Bunk and say, "Hey."
Zap. Yeah, he's a practitioner. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
A little rude there.
And you get the same
space.
Yeah, you get the same kind of zap. You can tell she's a practitioner.
Well, I know you said
she's a warden. You know she is.
Yeah.
Wardens are wizards. They're full blown,
so,
knowing the spells, carrying the staves.
I just find it was easier because I'm not sure why this guy is here where my dead friend is appearing. So
speaking of which, you mentioned that he was a practitioner, Terrance.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
So if you touch him, go touch him.
I'm gonna say Terrance wasn't a practitioner, but do you see that? Do you see that silver cord?
Did I see the silver cord? I don't remember.
No, you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, so you're not.
I haven't paid attention.
I didn't know if he.
You want to touch Terrance?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Yes, I'm gonna go over to Terrance.
Zap. You get the same kind of zap that he gave you, which means that at some point he was a practitioner. Now, that's new. The Terrance you knew did not do spells. Okay, he was a nice guy who you grew up with. He was not a wizard or a sorcerer or anything.
Interesting because Sydney St. Clair sent me that message. No, not Sydney St. Clair.
Not Sydney St. Clair.
Hang on. I got it somewhere.
Bella St. Clair.
Yeah, Bella St. Clair sent me that.
Sydney was the one who taught you.
Yeah, Bella St. Clair sent me that note saying, "Hey, sorry about your friend."
Mm-hmm.
And she's a Devanay.
Mm-hmm. So is Sydney. So is Sydney.
Yeah. So now I'm suspicious, or in the words of younger people I know, sus.
Sus.
Sus AF.
So what do you want to do?
I'm going to look at him and say, I think we need to go to the Never Never.
All right.
How y'all doing up there?
You hear a voice from below say, "How are y'all doing up there?" Right?
Who's
We're about to go to Never Never.
So
Okay.
that's a guy
Cool.
who
I guess sounds
Terrance
scary.
hired to protect him
Yeah, that sounds
from
awful.
someone who is hunting him. I didn't know.
He's the guy who owns the warehouse.
I'm thinking to myself, why didn't Terrance contact me? Especially now that I know he had to have known I was a warden. The thought flickens. Okay.
So you come back up the
I
stairs.
guess we'll go down.
Well,
I mean, he's shouting.
I'm
up to
waiting
us.
for a. Well, you respond. Yeah, I'll go. Well, no,
Okay.
because I don't want any more shit broken.
Yeah. Well, no, you moved everything away from what he can reach. He can't reach anything else.
Yeah, but if he yells up to us, then I figure I'm gonna go down.
Yeah, okay, so you head to the stairs that would lead down to the warehouse floor, and there's this guy standing on there, leather jacket, kind of spiky bit. He's kind of strong looking dude. And
I do have a +3 presence.
That's right. And so, you kind of walk down there, and you see this
I want to roll
fellow.
to see if I'm impressed.
I didn't matter. He's pretty good looking fellow. He's a pretty strong looking fellow. You're definitely thinking you you wouldn't want to tussle with him in a dark alley unless you got the first shot off. He's a pretty serious looking dude. You gonna shake his hand?
Volt.
You do not get the tingle of a practitioner.
So there's no volt.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's not a practitioner. Yeah.
So when I don't feel the volt, I cock an eyebrow, which I can't do that in real life.
That's
But
all right.
I cock the eyebrow, like, not much of a volt.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha.
Do I know what that means?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, in my head.
No,
In my
she didn't
head.
say that loud.
Okay. all right.
No, I won't say that out loud.
No.
I want to get decked by a guy.
Yeah, you could probably take her out.
I
with
was just gonna
with
squeeze harder.
But,
Yeah.
but the name of volt, I was expecting like a big electric shock or
No,
something.
he's definitely not a practitioner. He's not a magician or anything like
I do
that.
have a +3 presence.
That's right. And so yeah, you kind of walk down there, and you see this
I want to roll
fellow.
to see if I'm impressed.
I didn't matter. He's pretty good looking fellow. He's a pretty strong looking fellow. You're definitely thinking you wouldn't want to tussle with him in a dark alley unless you got the first shot off. He's a pretty serious looking dude. You gonna shake his hand?
Volt.
You do not get the tingle of a practitioner.
So there's no volt.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's not a practitioner. Yeah.
So when I don't feel the volt, I cock an eyebrow, which I can't do that in real life.
That's all
But
right.
I cock the eyebrow, like, not much of a volt.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha.
Do I know what that means?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, in my head.
No,
In my
she didn't
head.
say that loud.
Okay. all right.
No, I won't say that out loud.
No.
I want to get decked by a guy.
Yeah, you could probably take her out.
I
with
was just gonna
with
squeeze harder.
But,
Yeah.
but the name of volt, I was expecting like a big electric shock or
No,
something.
he's definitely not a practitioner. He's not a magician or anything like that.
Oh, way
So-
to assume.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you know,
This is a
sometimes, usually
bodyguarding
assumptions are
business.
right.
So, no. So, do you
Maybe not. You're right.
do you want to go open a gateway to the Never Never?
Yeah.
All right. So she tells you that she's basically going to open a gateway to the Never Never because that seems to be where the power is coming to fuel Terrance.
Yeah.
You go back up to where he's standing there.
Can I tell him too? I don't think it's. I really don't think it's Terrance. It's something else because all that it can say is his name.
Maybe
It doesn't.
you're not sure.
It knew my name, but
Yeah.
if it's something that's controlling him, maybe the other side knows who I am.
Are you going to open this as a ritual so it'll stay open for a while, or are you going to just kind of tear a hole? How do you want to do this?
Since I'm not emotional about it now because I realize this isn't actually Terrance,
Okay.
it's like his figure, his visage is being used.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do the ritual because I know how dangerous the Never Never can be.
So you grab a piece of chalk, you draw a circle, probably around Terrance. He's a little bit of force of will to pop it closed. When you do that, you notice that Terrance looks very puzzled, okay? And actually begins to kind of fade out of existence. Now, whatever it is, you kind of cut him off from his power source by drawing this magic circle.
Oh.
And then you're ready to cast the ritual. You need to roll. Let me see what to do here. You're doing a thaumaturgy. Your shifts are only +3. So what's your lore skill?
5.
Okay, so you're well above that. You need to roll discipline, and you need to get at least a +3.
Can I, since these guys are magical, can I get assists from them?
You can get +1 from each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
they know how to do this stuff.
You guys good with that?
Yeah,
I was going to ask, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure how
Yeah,
your character is with such a personal
Yeah.
thing here.
yeah, she's pretty cool. She's pretty relaxed and groovy.
Well, but what I'm saying is, since I don't think there's a personal connection.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Cause
No, I'm talking about you with Terrance. I don't know if you don't want other people messing with what you're doing.
right, because it's a
Oh.
personal thing. Gotcha.
No. I want people to help me because I'm gonna kick the butt of whoever took him out.
Yeah, what a dirtbag.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, you got chalk. I got chalk too. Can I help? You know, just be like, no, stop, mine.
Well, you each probably draw a triangle and stand at the point of the triangle to help feed
Okay.
the energy to it.
All right. So I'm rolling what?
Roll your discipline. All you need is +3. Actually, what's your discipline at?
5.
Okay, and you got a +2. So you're at +7 right now. So don't. Well,
Don't
okay.
say that.
Yeah. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. All right.
I got a 6.
She draws her hand kind of back and forth across into this X shape, and it's like reality just splits in half. And through it, you can see this kind of dark gray, grim-looking countryside. You know that this will stay open for a little while, but not for very long. What do you want to do, Joe? Are you going to step through? You can always open a way back. I mean, it's not a problem.
I'm gonna step through and follow the silver cord.
The rest of you stepping through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If the wizards go,
At this point, I'll go ahead and drop the canvas roll and pull out the sword.
if the Warden of New Orleans is going through, I mean,
She's carrying a cavalry signal. You're like, when did this happen? You step through.
Interesting choice.
In front of you, you see
Interesting
this
situation.
kind of rugged, rocky countryside with water and stuff like that. There is, for all intents and purposes, a granite tower rising up from the beach along the cliffside. And in front of this granite tower is what looks like these hooded Grim Reaper type specters carrying scythes. They turn towards you and let out a shriek of anger and come hurtling towards you. And
that's not good.
That's a good point to end because it is about 9:15. So that's a good point to end.